From Amateur Radio Newsline Report 2027, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, September 7th, 2016. As Amateur Radio Newsline went to production, more storms were bearing down on different parts of the U.S., and hams were getting prepared to assist. We have team coverage.
The area of greatest concern right now is Tropical Storm Hermine in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's sitting like a cocked pistol aimed at Apalachicola, Tallahassee, and areas near this region of the Florida Panhandle. Late Wednesday night, the National Hurricane Center issued hurricane warnings for coastal and inland areas from just east of Panama City east to Cross City, Florida, as well as inland areas that include 9 counties due north of this coastal region up to the Florida-Georgia state line. With landfall anticipated late Thursday night as a Category 1 hurricane, the tract of Hermine takes it up the east coast north of Washington, D.C., up to the New York State area late Sunday, when it should start to make an eastward turn according to the latest model data. If Hermine wasn't enough, hams in Hawaii are bracing for not one, but 2 tropical systems over the next 72 hours. Tropical Storm Madeline is tracking south the Big Island of Hawaii, moving westward as of Wednesday night local Hawaii time, and is predicted to lose strength. However, behind Madeline is Hurricane Lester. Lester is expected to move across the main Hawaii Islands as a Category 1 hurricane between Saturday and Sunday local Hawaii time. As it tracks northwestward across the islands, it should continue to weaken, though. If it weren't enough, a new tropical wave has just formed in the far eastern Atlantic. Reporting from Jasper, Alabama, I'm Bobby Best, WX4 ALA.
Meanwhile, in India, monsoonal rains have led to deadly flooding, and amateurs have been activated to provide emergency communications. At least 300 have lost their lives as villages in the eastern region were evacuated and residents sought higher ground. In central India, JU VU2JAU reports that hams have been deployed to help prevent flood-related accidents as the water levels deepen. The Ganges River floods are reported to have broken previous records as water levels reached unprecedented levels at 4 locations in the north. The highest record was measured in the state of Bihar, where floodwaters reached 50.52 meters or 166 feet as of August 26th.
That was Skeeter Nash, N5ASH. The United States National Parks on the Air Centennial continues through the rest of the year, and there's one more scenic wilderness to consider, thanks to a gift from a foundation created by a multimillionaire businesswoman.
Just call it MN84. The nation's newest national monument within the U.S. National Park Service is much more than that, of course. It's just under 87,500 acres in northern Maine, and it will be known as the Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument. The land donation, valued at $100 million, was given to the federal government by Elliotsville Plantation Incorporated, a foundation created by philanthropist Roxanne Quimby, who created the property over a period of years by buying parcels up from lumber companies. It's not far from Maine's Baxter State Park and Mount Katahdin, the highest peak in Maine. National Parks on the Air participants are now able to make plans for the site, which features the east branch of the Penobscot River and a section of the Maine woods popular among cross-country skiers, snowshoers, canoers, and fishing enthusiasts. Add to that list now all of those amateur radio operators who will no doubt soon be setting their sights on MN84. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Heather Emby, KB3TZD.
And finally this week, meet a guy who really puts the O in OM.
There are OMs in amateur radio, and then there are really OMs. Cliff Cahart, W4KKP of White Rock, South Carolina, definitely falls into the latter category. Cahart is 104 years old and has been an active licensed ham for 79 years and counting. I recently had the privilege of speaking with Mr. Cahart, who was first licensed in 1937. I asked him how he got interested in amateur radio.
Well, as a kid, I think I was 10 years old, a buddy of mine came along and put earphones on my head, and I heard radio for the first time.
Cahart is still quite active on the air. Even moving into a retirement home couldn't stop him.
I'm living in sort of a retirement place here. I sort of missed my radio, ham radio, right away, so I talked around a little bit, and I got permission to install my radio equipment here. Right now I'm the 40-meter band, but I work all bands from here. So I'm enjoying radio.
So listen for W4KKP on the air and try to work the man who may possibly be the oldest active ham in the world. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
Be sure to check out Paul's full interview on this week's Newsline and extended version on our extra page. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio. News for 4 decades and counting at www.arnewsline.org with Bobby Bess, WX4ALA, Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, Heather MB, KB3TZD, Paul Brown, WD9GCO, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, at the news desk in New York and our news team across the globe. I'm Lisa Marie Lumine. Don will be back next week, 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.